White. I literally have grown up in Lake Forest. Mitch White, Pastor Mitch, is my dad. So I've been here ever since this church pretty much started from the ground. So growing up in church, well, there's two stereotypes of a preacher's daughter. You're either the overly religious, super conservative, read your Bible every single day, don't really talk to anybody, you literally have to read your Bible every single day of your life, or the completely rebellious side where you're partying every day, not modest at all, anything like that. And I have never really been either of those. I've always kind of been somewhere in the middle, and just normal. And everybody, growing up, everybody would always comment like, oh, like preacher's daughter, like, which stereotype are you, stuff like that. And so that was always kind of hard in a way, because I feel like people were kind of judging me before they really even knew me, kind of having this one view of me, just as the preacher's daughter, which was a curse but a blessing. And it was a blessing because people knew me as a religious person, which I love that people know that side of me, and I love that people get to see kind of my relationship with God. So growing up in the church, having my dad as the pastor, I've always gone to church every Sunday, always served in children's ministry, stuff like that, like I do now, and I love it, don't get me wrong, but beginning of high school, I went through this phase my freshman and sophomore year where I didn't really want any part of the church. I didn't want any part of God. I was kind of falling off, sick of the stereotypes, sick of the judgment, and I wanted to make my walk with God my own. But at first that involved me kind of steering off the path with God. So for a long time, I would make excuses to not come to church. I would make excuses to not serve in whatever position I was in. And so for the end of my sophomore year, I was just on a bad path. I wasn't really doing anything bad, but I was just not on the path of God. But I went to Bolivia, which is one of our Missio Dei trips. I recommend any Missio Dei trip for anybody. I definitely think you all should go on one at some point in your life. I went to Bolivia the summer after 6th grade and the summer after my freshman year in high school. And something about it, I don't really know how to fully explain it, but something about it just draws me back. And so recently, I've been thinking that's kind of the path I want to go on. That's the path that I want to be on, is just in the mission field and really just telling others about God. And so end of sophomore year, I kind of was going back to that path, thinking about Bolivia, really wanting to go back. We had sponsored a boy at the orphanage who I got to meet this last time I went to Bolivia, but he had actually been reunited with his father after we had gone back, so that kind of was interesting. So we sponsored another boy, but this summer I'm going back, and so the beginning of junior year, when I was thinking about that, I was just thinking, like, God, if this is where I want to go, I've really got to get back into a relationship with you first. Like, I've got to be in a good place with you before I can tell others about you and stuff like that. So that's just kind of really affected me a lot. And being here at the church basically my whole life, I've seen, kind of going on to the topic of remix in general, I've seen 4 different youth pastors in this church, and Mike is the 4th. And honestly, at this point, I feel like this is the first time where it's kind of on solid ground. So I'm really happy that you guys are all here and stuff like that to be leading this. So going off to college and stuff like that, just kind of getting my life back on the path of God. I'm